Hi, my name is Dr. Kate Truitt. I'm a clinical psychologist. I also have my MBA. And I'd like to talk a little bit about productive procrastination, especially when we're working from home. Now, I definitely am guilty of being the person who's going to do 3 loads of laundry, walk the dog, do the dishes, wipe down all the counters, because once all those things are done, I have the felt sense that I'm going to be more productive. Guess what? That's productive procrastination. All those things that might otherwise be put aside because I'm out the door going to the office now become a primary area of focus. So when we're telecommuting, it's so important to be mindful of productive procrastination and to make sure that we give our brain and our body a structure to follow. In a previous video, I talked about the utmost importance of making sure that in your home, you have your location that is your work location. That lets your brain know that when you sit down there, you're doing work. And when you get up and you leave that space, then you're able to do house chores. So if you haven't done that yet, really important. Second, if you're finding that you're starting to engage in productive procrastination, give yourself a time limit. We have a timekeeper in our brain that loves to know that we can do something for X period of time, and then we have to shift. That part of our brain loves to have a sense of structure, and so building in a set structure for your hourly day-to-day experience, if you're prone to productive procrastination, is going to be really important. Productive procrastination is productive. It can feel really good. And so if you do experience productive procrastination, don't beat yourself up for it. But notice that when you put off the tasks that need to be done because you're accomplishing other tasks, that can start to lead to a sense of building stress. Therefore, building in time for productive procrastination can enhance your likelihood of getting other tasks done. For some of us, as we telecommute, it's really important for the brain to know we're only going to do project task for an hour, and then we're going to take a 30-minute break to do house task. And then we shift back, and we shift back. And the shifting is clearly from the home environment location that you've identified, where you sit down and you work, and then you go shift into home environment space, where you take care of whatever task is pulling on you and asking for attention. So depending on how your brain works, some of us set shift more quickly, others require a longer period of time to really dive in deep into projects. Give yourself permission for your brain to work the way it needs to work. One of the other things to keep in mind is that sometimes when our brain starts to pull at us to engage in house tasks, it might be because we're used to at a certain time having human interaction. And so this is one of those opportunities to reach out to a colleague to have a conversation about a project or just to check in to see how they're doing. Often if our brain is starting to feel frazzled on a task and we're used to being able to pop into our colleagues' offices for conversations, then we have to be mindful and protective of that and be intentional about creating those same social opportunities while we're working from home. As I've talked about before, loneliness is very real when we're working from home, and giving ourselves permission to proactively connect and not isolate will help us be more productive overall. Finally, when we're working from home and we're noticing productive procrastination coming up, one of the things that I like to do at the end of every day is to make a list of the things that I successfully accomplished. What tasks did I get done? I usually get a lot more done each day than I'm aware of, because sometimes my productive procrastination is work focused. I'll find that I do an entire marketing campaign that I wasn't planning on doing because I might have been avoiding working on a slide deck. So giving myself that feedback of, oh, I accomplished this, I accomplished this, I accomplished this, allows me to continue to feel motivated and even enhances my desire to dive into whatever the task I'm avoiding is the next day. We don't want to shame ourselves or allow stress to build. What we want to do is to acknowledge the work that we have accomplished so that we continue to stay in an active engagement with our motivation and are more likely to take the step into the difficult task next time. Finally, if you find that you're engaging in productive procrastination, call up a team member who is working on the project that you're working on and start talking about the task at hand. Or if you don't have a team member available, even start talking about it with your wife, or pull out a piece of paper and start writing about it. Sometimes our brain just needs to get back into the thinking loop in order to push through the procrastination so that we can begin the task. So our primary job is, as always, make sure that you have a home environment where there's a space that is your workspace. Give your brain a schedule for when you're going to be working, and give yourself permission at times to step outside and do other tasks as needed. If your timekeeper is feeling exhausted because you've been working for an hour, give yourself permission to stand up, stretch, take a walk, do what your brain needs in order to revisit the task at hand. If you're struggling to tapping into the task, reach out to a colleague, start having a conversation about it to get your brain to think about it, which will increase motivation. If you don't have a colleague immediately available, start doing some handwriting and journaling about what the tasks are and what your thoughts are regarding the task. Shifting to an analog experience with your brain will enhance motivation to go back to the task at hand, even if it's on a screen. So the main thing is to fight procrastination through permission, and it seems counterintuitive, to do that list at the end of each day to highlight your successes so that you don't feel shame or anxiety. If you don't get as far as you'd like to get in a project, invite in other people for support. And again, first and foremost, make sure that you have that dedicated space in your home environment that is your workspace, so that when you sit down there, your brain starts to build the neural memory of, in this environment, this is where we work. Wishing you all the success, and keep moving forward.